Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have found yourself on the number one greatly diminished following podcast in all of War Machine and Horde history. Of course, I'm talking about your favorite and ours, the Wednesday Night Extravaganza, the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday Night Extravaganza. And of course, I am Menoth John, and with me, as usual, the co-host with the most, Mr. John Spencer. He's that way. Boom.
Heyo.
Hello. All right, so we need to make sure that the brush head or two that is in the chat room tells us how the sound is, because John, and I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop touching things. No
phrasing.
Good. What? Yeah, phrasing. Yeah.
Phrasing.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to stop. Well, there you go. Let's leave that alone. So hopefully someone. Okay, everybody says sounds great. They can hear John. Yeah. They can hear all this kind of stuff. So now I can take that deep cleansing breath.
Because you know, John, that's just the great big issue of our time that you're facing right there.
What's that?
That is the fucking around and the finding out.
Yes. So the the reason behind it is there's a ground loop issue on this computer somewhere. Somehow the way that I've got it set up, I'm getting like this, like, it's not 60 cycle hum in my headphones, but I know you don't hear it on the podcast, and I know you don't hear it. Nobody else hears it but me. Now, either I could be hallucinating. This is entirely possible.
I heard it a little bit when you were working with the sound earlier. I heard it for like a little bit.
Yep. So it's entirely possible that it's just me hallucinating. But chances are better than not. It's just something to do with the headphones and how I'm doing all this nonsense. But the so when I've been playing some Vigi games, as I want to do on the crossouts, I plug it into the monitor over here, and then I have to change all these inputs and outputs, and Jesus, like, you know. I should just leave the stupid podcasting rig alone. That would be the smart thing to do. But it's not my speed.
Well, I have also been playing the Vigi games. I have actually been streaming a lot of the Vigi games.
You've been doing the Mech Warriors, am I not correct?
Yeah, I'm doing not only my Monday night Mech Warrior and my Sunday morning Mech Warrior. I've also been doing what I call Striker Life, which is a MechWarrior Online playthrough with just the Striker pack, which is their newest pack, to just see how good the new player experience is now that I'm a wily old veteran of 1 year, you know. And I'm here to tell you that new player experience really fucking good, actually.
Good.
Better than when I started.
Good. Well, that's excellent. It sounds like, well, you're just doing all the podcasting these days. But here we are at the Wednesday Night Extravaganza, and you know, as we are wont to do on this particular show, we'd like to start off with a beverage update. And so I am having a Negroni, as I am wont to do, which is my favorite drink from doing the old Milanos, hanging out in Italy's, as you do. And it is a 1-1-1 drink comprised of Campari from Milano, Martini and Rossi Rosso Vermouth from Turin, and somehow Beefeater gin. Somehow London Dry gin got in there, and nobody quite understands that. But
That's what I have in my bar, Beefeater.
Beefeater's a fine, John. And so that's what I'm having right now. What about you, John?
Well, I have 3 drinks around me, sir.
Whoa!
I have sweet tea that I was drinking because I was working, and I do not drink alcohol while working, no matter how short and how unlikely it is I will get a call or anything.
That is exactly a good practice if one likes to stay employed.
I'm a professional. And then I'm going to follow it up. I have a little bit of this Suntory whiskey Toki, Japanese whiskey.
I've heard good things about Japanese whiskeys.
It is definitely interesting. And then I'm going to follow it up with a new concoction that is in the white cup here, just so you can all keep track. That this is the sweet tea.
Real American heroes. Is that a GI
This
Joe?
is no, actually, it's from our local barbecue joint.
Ah,
They sell these cups are reusable, but part of the money from them goes towards charity.
Good.
So I literally buy one every week, take it home, and never ever bring it back.
well, there you go.
So Bane and I have a million of these. But anyways, that has a mix of no sugar added apple cider with Jack Fire whiskey. So
Ooh.
trying to get that apple cinnamon thing, see how it is. I hope it's good. I haven't tried it yet. We'll find out shortly.
Outstanding. Well, we'll look forward for a review on that one. And speaking of reviews, you know, John, the reviews are in on the John Cons of the past, and the John Cons of the past have all gotten rave reviews from several outlets like Con Life magazine, the places you should stay away from, top 10, and Drinkers Social. That's that's a special place that they have reviews of things. And they're all very positive for John Con, and John Con is making its triumphant return on July 24th, 25th, and 26th in beautiful and delightful Racine, Wisconsin. And John, I know that you've got some pretty serious conflicts at work, and you will not be able to join us in person, but we will be certainly pulling you in on the virtual side of this, especially during our RPG sessions, which will be live streamed and all that kind of stuff. And we'll figure out some other fun activities for you to get involved with. But folks, if you've not been part of a John Con, I'm telling you, this is your big opportunity. Friday night will be an RPG. Saturday night will be an RPG. Sunday we are going to have the brewery tour. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to give me your money, which I will then pass every single cent of it on to the Racine Food Shelf and Halo, which is the homeless shelter here in Racine. We're going to split it 50-50, 50% for the homeless, 50% of the hungry.
Fitty.
50-50. That keeps the math simple because we'll be able to divide by 2. John, were you aware of that if you want to split something in half, you would divide by 2?
I'm a math guy, so I was aware of that.
You were aware of that. That's very good. You know, 9 out of 10 people don't understand that, and fuck that other guy. That's what I say. You know, that's a callback right there. That's the sign of professional-ass podcasting.
You got it.
So on behalf of the number 2, hey, Ron.
Ron.
But we're very excited about it. We're going to be, we are going to be playing Nemesis Lockdown, the new version of Nemesis.
Oh, cool.
And you'll be able, still not sure I'll have my second in time. Not sure the second of what, but that's good.
Shot. So Talkzar says he got his first shot booked finally, and he's not sure if it was second in time. I would have. My first shot will be a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
And then 3 weeks after that will be my second shot.
Yep. And we're only talking, 6 weeks to, Jesus Christ, 6 weeks to John Con. I guess I better get some flights booked for people. So,
figure out what the heck I'm going to do. I'll start throwing some ideas out.
Yeah, sounds good. But, anyway, so that John Con, mark it on your calendar. It'll be on this station, doing them live streams. We'll have, in attendance, we will have Eric Mac Davis. We will have Dan Vanderkoy. We will have Rich Brotman. We're going to have a special in-person appearance of, you know him, you love him, Arky Dan from Tectonic Craft Studios. We are going to have...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's going to be here because he lives in Wisconsin now. We may have some people from... Brett Painter is probably not going to make it, but could. You never know. pull a rabbit out of his hat. Could happen. Come on over. If you need a place to stay, you can camp out at in Casa John. We moved it to the summertime so it wouldn't suck. We are going to have plenty of board games. We're going to have probably a little War Machine and Hordes brawl machine action out in the garage. We're going to have Matt Wonky running a little tournament over there. Got to get with him to make sure he's got that ball rolling. But yeah, as long as you've got two shots in your arm, you're welcome to come. $25 a day.
I'm glad you specified in your arm, because I got 2 shots. I can have 2 shots in the 2
Woohoo!
seconds.
Yeah,
man.
2 shots in the arm. And as long as you're immunized against them COVIDs, we're going to bring you on in. $25 a day gets you dinner on Saturday and the RPG session if you come on Friday. And it will the Sunday one, we have a limited number of seats, but that $25 would get you onto the party bus, which will be hitting a number of local breweries. And we have some new ones. We're still going to go to Rustic Road, but there's a new one called Little Port Brewing. And if they open it in time, we're going to go to One of Us Brewing, also in Racine. So,
I'll be honest. That may be the part I miss the most, because the brewery tour from the one I went to was super awesome.
yeah, it's super legit and totally sweet.
And I'm not even a beer guy. So there you go. There's the best line you can have. Even a beer guy loves the brewery tour. Even
Hell
a
yeah.
non-beer guy.
All right, kids. So we threaten to paint quite frequently on this show.
We do.
And so today is no different. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to the painting cam, otherwise known as Stealth Crotch Cam. And
Stealth Crotch.
Stealth Crotch! All right, so last time on the show, you'll remember that most of these models were in pieces. And they're not in pieces anymore. They are all fully assembled.
Assembled.
And they have been primed. So
Models assemble.
they are assembled, thank God. Man, do I...
yeah, Legionnaires, I'm fairly certain we've all heard about the crack in the bridge over the Mississippi. That is all over the news.
Oh, shit, what happened?
Oh, did you hear? There is legitimately a crack in that bridge from Memphis. Was it St. Louis and Baton Rouge? It's a big crack. I saw a picture on YouTube. It's no bueno.
There's a bridge that goes from St. Louis, Missouri to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's a long bridge.
That's what the show says. I forget what the bridge was. I saw it on the Yahoos. Let me find the Yahoos again.
Find out about a Yahoo. So here, just use your Googles to search Yahoo for big crack. Use those terms.
Do not search for big crack.
Split seam.
Yeah, it's
broken bridge.
Why? It's funny. It shows up here.
That sounds a little bit like fake news.
Nah,
This is the searching the internet portion of tonight's show.
Yeah, huge crack. Actually, I think it's under. It says it's connecting Tennessee and Arkansas. So.
Tennessee and Arkansas. So, all right. Well. Yeah,
that's one of them. Apparently, there's another one. The one he's talking about. This one was really uncool. I saw my buddy who lives in that's in that area, but.
How can it be between St. Louis and Baton Rouge? Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and St. Louis are not across the river from each other. That's not a thing that is possible.
Let's see here.
Anyway, while we figure out physics and maps, I'm going to go ahead and start painting a little bit, and we can get. When people tune into Painting with Menoth John, they want their big crack update, and that's what we're going to give them. Crack update. Yeah. So
yeah, it's a heck of the picture my buddy shared is huge.
Is it a big ass crack?
Yeah, it is a big ass crack.
So I should search big ass crack on Google.
Absolutely, big ass crack will definitely get you exactly what you want. I-40 bridge. Let's see here, Memphis and Arkansas bridge. Yeah, it's gonna be closed for a while. It's gonna be bad news over there.
Wow.
But anyways,
they're lucky that fucker didn't just drop right off into the old ocean there.
Yeah, no shit. it's not bueno. It's bad.
People have been asking, can you fix a cracked bridge?
Oh boy.
Your dentist will discuss your options for repair or replacement depending upon your individual dental bridge. I don't think that's what they mean.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, but it's not the bridges we're talking about.
So it goes from, okay, so Arkansas.
This one says Memphis, Tennessee to Arkansas, from Memphis, Tennessee to West Memphis and Arkansas, because apparently that makes sense.
Well, yeah. You know what? That's it's the Hernando de Soto Bridge. It's entirely, sounds like
the I-40 bridge. Yeah.
Sounds like they're lucky that bridge didn't straight up just give up the ghost and fall in the water. That's a big crack.
Yes.
I've seen some pretty impressive cracks in my time. I'm going to put it out there, John. But
I mean, yeah, I've hung around Magic players, and they got some big cracks.
You know what, this crack and those cracks have a lot in common in that you can stick a pack of Magic cards right there in it. You could put a commander deck in this thing. That's a big crack. You got to fill that. You got to send them. Maybe we could send them some crack filler, like a tube of caulk. You think that would help?
No. Green stuff, glue.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think of that, buddy. Here, I got this. Folks on the cam, you can see right now, this is what they need there at the DeSoto Bridge. All they need to do is wad up this little bit right here. That's enough. I mean, honestly, you roll it out like a little snake. You put it in there. You got to feather it, though. I mean, you got to feather it. If you don't feather it, you're not going to get the kind of bondage you need on it. You need bondage on your crack, or else it's not going to seal.
Wow. We're not doing phrasing at all, folks.
Nope. So feather your crack, or you won't end up with enough bondage. There, you had it right there. Panty with Menoth John. Boom.
Noted.
We're like teenagers, only
That's
worse.
Our next shirt. Feather your crack.
Feather your crack for maximum bondage. All right, so that's probably enough crack talk for right now. Let's talk about these models, what we're going to do with them. So they are Zenithal primed. So right now we went ahead and we that was off. I don't know if I think we pulled 9 Gs on that turn there, John. I was starting to my vision was my vision was starting to close down, and
yeah.
I was doing Kegels there to keep myself from blacking out. Kegels, that's what they're called, right? Kegels.
Don't ask me. I just work here.
Anyway, so I was squeezing my butt cheeks, and I didn't black out, so I feel pretty good about that. So returning back to, so we've got these 5 models.
Those 5 models.
The 5 models that we have here have been Zenithal primed, which means what I did was I took them and I primed them all solid black with my airbrush. Then I came back at a 45, about 47 degrees, John. I think it was probably closer to 47 than 45, and give it the business. I gave it the business with the airbrush, and all the way around. Flipped it over a little bit. Now you can see you get that natural highlight. You can't see shit from where I'm holding this. There you go. So you get a little natural highlighting going on there. And now the next step is we've got the highlights, but we need to really give it the business with the high highlights. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing. Now, I like to dry brush with a square or chisel tip brush like this. So I've got this one here, which is nice. This is a little small one, a little bit smaller than this one. And then I got a little bit bigger one here for bigger surfaces. And you basically want to take your model and you want to think about where the sunlight is going to be the brightest. So it's going to be a lot of edge type stuff. And you're going to give it that next layer of white so that when you come through it, it'll be, you won't have to, you can just use some like thinned glazes of paint and stuff like that. And it'll just, you don't have to work at all. It'll just come right off there. So we're going to start off, I think, with, we'll start with the Highlander or the Outlander or whatever his friggin' name is. And we'll go from there. So these are not the last Riot Quest models I'm going to get. Did you know that, John?
Oh, I knew that. If they keep putting out models, you're going to keep getting them. I know how it goes.
They're super fun to paint, I got to tell you. I'm detecting the presence of some residual something else on this model. I don't know that I could get the camera any further away from what I'm doing here, by the way.
That's a good view, actually, though. I mean, you can see what you're doing.
And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick the edges here to pick out first, because the thing when you're doing the dry brush like this, you got to make sure that the edges are going to be the brightest. So if you start with your dry brush where it's going to be the brightest, if there's a little extra paint on it, it won't ruin everything. And I'm going to come through here and put a little bit more paint on it, give it the business, wipe off most of it, and then come back across these edges again. And that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, Jen?
It's sort of like the idea I have when I'm painting a color on something. I actually put the color down where there's already like a larger area, and then drag it towards maybe where it meets another color. You want to be, get it where it's good first, and then get it over to the danger zone, so to speak.
Yeah. And with this model, one of the things that you can kind of not worry too much about is like where there's going to be metallics, because metallics in general are pretty thick paints and don't necessarily, you're not going to be doing much of a glaze with them, but rather you're going to be, those are going to be pretty opaque paints. Now, I'm giving this thing the business right here, and I just got to be really careful. The pants are the danger zone on this one, where you've got some more subtle creases, as is this this scarf that he's got. You wanna pick out the very high points, but you don't want to pick out everything. You don't want to get down into the lower parts too much, because it'll just all be highlighted then.
Yeah, remember when you're putting your when you're dragging your dry brush over your paper towel, you can let it go till nothing visibly shows up. There's still paint there, and it will build slowly. And building slowly is okay for a dry brush. That's how you get the really good dry brushes.
Yeah, that's the key, is you got to be patient with it. When you're at this stage too, I mean, this is not the final paint color or anything like that. So you're just what you're doing is you're telling the glaze, hey, you're going to be able to show your natural color a little bit more in this area. And you can, I'll move this over here so you can see when I'm knocking the paint off. And you'll notice I started at the knee tip, because I knew that would be the brightest portion, and then I'll work back in towards where it's a little bit more covered up. And that's how you do this. And sometimes I'll just go in here and catch like some of the areas that are going to be more dark, just because if I go in there and I catch those edges, they'll give some definition to things that might otherwise be lost as far as details. And at the end of the day, yes, you want something that's got some realism to its lighting, but these are little cartoony guys, and you don't mind if they've got a little bit of exaggeration to them. The other thing that this will do for you is show you exactly every seam you forgot and did a shitty job of getting rid of.
Yep. But it's also really good because you could do that. You could theoretically do that, go, oh, shit, look at those seams. Clean them, then go back and just touch up what you did.
Yep.
I mean, it's always an option.
You can do that. That is certainly within a person's right. Nobody can tell you to do that differently.
Yeah, it all depends on what you really want to do with it.
Yep. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to catch the front of this guy's hat just a little bit more. And have a little bit more of the bright in the front, because what's funny about this hat is that it's allegedly like a bamboo hat.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to see some of those bamboo details that are in there a little bit, but it's gonna be best if I bring it across with a little bit of this dry brush. Now, keep in mind, folks, when you do the dry brushing and you see that there's a texture, the more perpendicular you are to that texture, the better it's going to highlight and pick up those high spots. Like when I see this scarf like this, I'm going perpendicular to the folds, because I'll pick out the very tips a little bit more than if I'm going parallel to it. If I go parallel to the detail, it will tend to end up in the recesses of the folds, and that's not where the light would naturally catch it. Okay, so that's like stage one, and we're gonna go back now, and so he's kind of, I gotta get a little bit down over here too, because that's lost in the details. Okay, so I'm gonna put him aside. I'm gonna pick the next one here. I'll pick out Gurglepox, or whatever this guy's name is. This is a bigger.
Gurgle-pock.
I forget what the hell his name is. This is a little bit bigger one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with a little bit bigger dry brush. And we're going to start picking out on this guy.
Nurgle called. He wants his follower back.
Yeah, no kidding. This is a Necrotech riding a Ripper. This guy's going to be insanely fun to paint.
Oh yeah, he looks cool.
Once again, this is all going to be metallic up in here, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time dry brushing the metallic stuff because there's just no payback for it.
Yeah, because metallic's so opaque, it's going to pretty much.
Yep.
Say like, oh, you appreciated that.
That's adorable.
Nah, son.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
But now, even my zenithal shading, I didn't catch much of this guy's thigh over here. And naturally, there's going to be some detail there. So I'm going to pick that up. Now, he's got a little satchel over here. So I'm going to give that a little bit of love because I want that satchel to show up as well as his belt over here. He's got a few folds in his cloak and stuff like that. Coming across the top here, make sure I'm catching all these little folds in his hood. He's got a metallic arm on this one, so there's not a whole lot of work to be done on that one. Once again, you'll use a lot more of washes to pull the detail out on those. But I can't tell you guys how much faster your painting will come together if you do these extra steps. The amount of time that you'll spend playing goof around will really you put on one or two little light layers of something and the model just basically paints itself almost.
Update on my Apple and Tennessee fire. Nah, it's it's not bad, it's just very muted. It doesn't really have any strong flavor anyway.
Huh. Okay, this is an interesting detail on here. I'll see if I can point it out if I can see it on here. If you look at his leg down here, this is, Necrotechs, they're zombies, whatever. But they've got a spot here, and when you dry brush this kind of like highlighting on it, you can pick out where the little lesions in the skin are, so that when you go back and you paint this, you'll know to stay away from that because you're going to want that to be a different color. That's a detail that is best represented by, usually it's kind of a muted kind of not green, but grayish green color. And if you put in some kind of a putrid pink color in there to kind of maybe sell the fact that it's starting to die off, that can be a game changer as far as the looks of the model. So I'm picking out some of these different. I'm coming back here, and there's gonna be a lot of lots of metallics on this Ripper, obviously because it's a mechanical thing. But I'm gonna still pick out some of these details because it'll help me guide my painting when I'm doing it as well. Because I'll see the detail a little bit easier, and I won't accidentally make mistakes about where I need my paint to go. The teeth are going to be teeth shaded, so I want to definitely come in here and pick out those details and give them some extra dry brushing.
Yeah, and dry brushing the parts metallic isn't like a problem.
No,
when the metal hit it, it's no worries. It'll just go right over. It's not going to make any problem one way or the other.
What can really be nice if you do this kind of a technique on the teeth, and then you hit them with a very light, a thinned out kind of, I don't know, jack bone or Menoth white base or something like that to kind of, you just put that on there and maybe you put a little wash on them and you're done. It's just really, really fast.
When I was first painting skeletons, my buddy taught me to do he told me a couple different ways. One was to put like a yellow glaze on something like that, and then just a little bit of touch-up afterwards gave it that sort of, bone sort of look, old bleached debone type of thing.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yes, he is.
All right. So, but this is not a lot of work, guys, and this saves you a ton when it comes time for showtime.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of detail here. Instead of rushing in and getting all after your paints and stuff like that, doing these kind of details can really save you a lot of time long term. I know that doing this kind of a thing, and this is all the stuff that I've been taught by Seth and good people like him to do that. Now, running out a little bit of paint here, so we're going to go ahead and I don't have any that's the biggest model I have. So probably what I'll do here is, while I got this brush and it's a little bit wet, I've still got some paint in it. I'm going to come and I'm going to pick up on this guy's balloon because it's got a big wide area.
Mm-hmm. Because remember, once you wash that brush off, it's no good for dry brushing till it's fully dry.
That's right. You dry brushing with a partially wet brush, not dry brushing, and it's a disaster.
Unless you're looking for wet brushing, which can be a good technique on some things, but it is totally different from dry brushing.
Yep, and it's so what I'm going to do here is I really want the tops of these ropes to pop, and I also want the a little bit in the middle of the balloon surface, because if you think about how a balloon that's being constrained by a rope would be, it would be bulgy by where the ropes are. So it'll bulge up all those because the ropes are constraining it. And if I come through here and I just give it just a little touch of fudge, you'll get the rope effect, and it'll make there a little bit more interesting. It'll make the balloon a little bit more interesting. Are you still there, John? Oh yeah, you just switched cameras.
I'm switch cameras so you guys can see what I have completed recently.
Cool. Yeah, let's show and do a little showing and telling there, buddy.
All right. So, where we at? I don't know if anyone's following my hobby streak, if you haven't seen or anything, but I have completed Sabretooth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his ankle broke, but I fixed it pretty well, and he was actually much simpler than I thought he was going to be. And pretty distinct, just simple jobs. I don't do anything earth-shattering on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wolverine.
Very nice.
I think he came out pretty well, too.
Yellow's a son of a bitch to paint.
I'm telling you, I use the same thing I use all the time, and it was moldy ochre, and then actually some Seraphim sepia over it, and then a little touch-up of the moldy ochre.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. And then She-Hulk.
Very nice. God dang, John, your painting has come so far along.
I used a little bit of the white ink for her highlights on her costume there. You probably can't tell it at all because it's white in here, but there's some distinction there, so part of it really pops a little more. But yeah, so that's where I'm going. I'm working on the giant truck now.
Very cool. Oh, very cool.
And then some Battletech models. I just did a base coat on the Irby because Irby is life.
So let's talk a little bit about this guy's rocket plume up here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, rocket plumes. I actually feel like I know how to paint those pretty well, which is surprising.
So I'm going to dry brush the high points on the top of the plume that's outside of the cloud. Yeah, your big giant head has a hell of a plume on it.
Yeah, and then I had it on Star-Lord also.
And so go ahead, John. Tell me your technique.
Well, so here's the key with that is I find just get a picture of like a rocket taking off. That's what you need to see. That will show you exactly it. It shows you where the orange is, which is not exactly where you're thinking necessarily, and where it's dark and where it's light, which is actually sort of the opposite of what you're doing, John. It's actually more lighter around the clouds at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm doing this because I'm going to make it a little more cartoony.
Okay, cool. More orangey then?
Yeah, and this I'm going to do this up by where the little bulbs are here. That is going to be dark. Those are going to be darker. So what I'm going to do is I'll come back in here and it's going to be a little bit more yellow up and through here, and then it's going to fade into an orange, And then these are going to be more of a darker color because that's where things have cooled off. We've got some soot and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah, my number one reference pictures. Honestly, if you're painting anything and you want it to look, if you don't have like a perfect idea and you can find some sort of reference picture, get it.
Yeah.
It will inspire you so much.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was doing the Fire Frogs way back in the day. I had pictures up, and that helped kind of get me the orange blend that I wanted. Now, big brush, it's time to say bye-bye. So
yeah,
I'm gonna wash him, put him in the old thing here, give him a little dip. Okay. There we go. And now the thing you got to be careful of too is when you wash your brush and then you are drying it over here like this, because when you dry brush it's super freaking hard. Do not dry brush with something you love like a Winsor Newton Series 7. These are the Army Painter large dry brush, and I love the Army Painter dry brushes.
The only thing I have a problem with is that their regular smaller one is at an angle, and it fucks with my head because I did so much with GW ones that are straight on. I have to sort of change my whole way of working. But I bought one. I don't remember what company it's from, but one to do She-Hulk's hair a little bit.
Cool.
That was pretty nice. I mean, go to your local game store. They've got all sorts of brushes.
They sure do.
If you see one you like, just get it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so got a little bit more paint here.
So with those three done, John, I have, Ant-Man and Wasp are 2 models each, which is annoying, but it is what it is, right?
Wow, yeah, okay.
And then
big one and little one, I suppose?
Yeah, big one, little one for each. And then I have 2 more guys assembled, and then 2 more to assemble. So we'll see if I can get those all done before I get my next batch of models.
Yeah, the goal is to get these 5 guys done well before the next Kickstarter shows up.
Yeah, well, I'm even still focusing on Avengers and the Cabal, which are the bad guys, because that's all I've played. The funny thing is, I actually like the bad guys more, which is a rarity for me.
So I'm pretty deep into the Riot Quest Kickstarter. It's over with now.
Oh,
but I pretty well maxed out my pledge, and I'm getting 13 models, I think. 13 or 14 models. And they're going to be there's Death Jack, and then there's a bunch of different ones, but the Death Jack Karchev one is the kind of the reason I wanted it. I'm excited for the new map too. The new map is going to have conveyor belts on it. So it's going to be a little like Robo Rally.
That's what I was thinking. First thing in the head, Robo Rally.
So I think it's going to be really super fun. And then they also, part of the Kickstarter was they unlocked different riot gear that were maybe a little bit more crazy ones.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all good. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. The good thing about a game like that is a map change can make a huge difference in gameplay.
It's a whole different game at that point. Yeah, I've said it before. I say it again. I think from a Privateer Press standpoint, Riot Quest is the best game they've ever done. It is not it's not a tactical exercise or a strategic exercise like War Machine and Hordes, but boy, oh boy, is it bananas ass fun.
That's important. You need some bananas ass fun. I was actually a little disappointed, not in the quality of the game because I haven't received it, and I may not, in Warhammer Quest Curse City, because they made it limited, and shocking, GW kind of shit the bed on it again.
Cursed City is the latest one, right?
Yeah.
So that they didn't make enough of it, or?
Well, they made it limited, and stores didn't get all they ordered, and all like the standard GW shit. I mean, let's be honest, they've been doing this shit for years. The guy I have it ordered through, and I did not go through my local game store because I don't get out there too often right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a guy online who does a lot of good stuff and supports the hobby as well, so I tried to get it through him, and just waiting to see if he gets it. He may not, but if he doesn't, I'll be okay. My buddy the Jason got a copy, so I'm like, we got one in the local group. It's good enough for me.
Yep, exactly.
I will spend my money on other stuff that is also fun for everyone. Like a Grimlock plushie you can barely see over my head. Because I'm silly like that. It's really hard to see over there. Let me... Oh, come here, buddy.
Oh, that's very cute. My dog would enjoy that.
Yeah, he's super cool. I was very pleased when he showed up today. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, I feel like now I'm in the point where, even though I don't need to get all the games that they come out, because I'm not going to play them all. We've played my copy of Blackstone Fortress like 3 or 4 times, maybe.
Yep.
But, you know, I'm like, it's super fun. I have it if we need it, and someone will have Cursed City. That's an in-person game, so it is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting back out and actually playing some games in person here pretty soon. Hopefully I can get back to occasionally getting up to Milwaukee to play Riot Quest with folks, or maybe some... I wouldn't even mind playing a little bit of Brawl Machine. But my day, I will never play another 75-point game of War Machine so long as I live. That is a... You can take that to the bank.
The Blood Bank. Sorry. My inner Steven Seagal had to come out there.
Unless it was at a John Con and somebody
that
was out of town said, "Can we please play? We never play," some shit like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I've got a couple games of Marvel Crisis Protocol in with my buddy Petey.
Nice.
He's not as worried. He's vaccinated, so he's not as worried about me coming over. He says just as long as you're not out and about, and I'm not out and about during the week. Like, I go to the grocery store real quick. I have to go to the office, unfortunately, and then the weeks I go to hang out with him, I don't go to Mission Barbecue for our Saturday meal, just so there's less points of contact, you know.
Yep.
Gotten some games in. It's been super fun to play.
Good.
I can't wait to get this all done and then get to some role-playing again. I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to my group to see if they're still in it, see what we want to do. I'm hoping... I kickstarted a copy of Prowlers and Paragons, which seems like it's got a good rules set for superheroes. I'm waiting for that to arrive. But if it doesn't arrive in time or my group wants something different, we may just play the Secrets of Gullet's Cove for the Dungeons and Doggies.
Nice. That'd be fun.
I kickstarted that because it's super cool and super cute, and dogs. I actually don't have a copy of D&D 5th edition. I'd have to buy it to play, but that's okay. And if not, I got other stuff we can play, but I'm looking forward to getting some of that in because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love sitting there and playing video games, but on the Saturdays now, I don't play that much. I kind of chill, watch a lot of videos, and don't do anything fucking constructive. I'd like to get back to the every other week video game, or in-person role-playing.
Yep, why would you? That's super fun. I mean, you know, folks, if you're watching this show, you're probably also watching the every other Wednesday role-playing game of Mothership. If you're ever interested in playing a sci-fi role-playing game, John, I cannot possibly recommend the Mothership system more highly.
Cool. Actually, I really, really want to get something with Fantasy Flight's system, which name is escaping me right this moment.
Couldn't tell you.
But Fantasy Flight has a game based fucking awesome. It uses funky dice because Fantasy Fight.
Yeah.
But like the way it works, it's, you know, you can succeed negatively. Like I succeeded when I was doing, but there's enough of these particular things showing up that something negative happens too.
Sure.
And you can fail, but something positive happens because you got enough of those things. It's great. It is a super narrative system. It really has the GM and the players work together.
Cool.
God, I'm trying to remember the name of the damn game. I'll get to it. Someone might get it in the chat room before I find it here, but Genesis, that's what it's called. Didn't even get there with the SYS. I think that's what it's called. Products. Other games. Yes, Genesis. I really like the way it plays. Like, I loved that Star Wars game. It works super duper cool. They got more books out too. That's cool. They actually have a Keyforge
Role-playing game.
supplement for it.
Yep.
Secrets of the Crucible. Interesting. But yeah, so I like that. I'd like to play that. There's a ton of games I'd like to play. I bought the most recent MechWarrior RPG, MechWarrior Destiny, because I am on a BattleTech kick, which should not surprise anyone based off all my MechWarrior Online and all that. And it is good to be getting back into that. It's like an old friend. I just got to get more time to read and get new glasses. John, I'm here to tell you, my eyesight is shit.
Yeah, I hear you. I need
So
some new glasses
working at home for all that time, like my eyesight was fine, and then I started driving, and my distance sight was terrible. But now, having been back at the office for months, my distant eyesight is actually fine, and my up close eyesight is fucking terrible, like really terrible. Like I have to do the whole take the glasses up to read something now.
Yeah.
You know what that might mean?
Yeah, it's bifocals, baby.
Ah.
Welcome to the club. They're not that
Yeah.
bad. They're not that bad.
Also, the way I work, I might actually ask for 2 sets of glasses just because it might be better than bifocals. My eyes are a little messed up. We'll see what the doctor says, though.
You get the to learn the skill of looking underneath your glasses.
Well, I did already. There was a point where I was when I was just hobbying, where I'm looking under my glasses at my palette because it's closed, looking through my glasses at like the screen to look at chat and all, and then I'm like, looking through the actual visor I wear with the magnifier to look at the model.
There you go. All right, kids. Well, the next stage in doing these models, when you're doing this sketch technique, is there might be sections that even with the dry brushing, you're not happy with how much white you got in the right place. And that is where you turn over to your dear friend, Daller and Rowney White Ink. This is the greatest thing that's come into my life. There it is, in some time. And just put a little drop on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these models and just figure out where we want just a little extra, a little bit of love. And let's take this little gremlin guy here, little gobber dude. Get me a little.
It's good to know that it's not for everyone. I've heard some people who will go unnamed to protect the innocent and guilty that say they don't really use it. It's not really their thing. It's not working for them like they thought it was.
That is why they make lots of products for different people.
Absolutely. But it's good to know. But you have to try all the products you can so you can know if it's for you or not.
Yep. You do have to be a tiny little bit careful with it because it is very white. And you don't want it to be... I mean, even if you're looking for a cartoony look, you don't want it to look stupid.
I mean, if it was any whiter, it would probably have a "Don't Tread on Me" sign and be complaining about Antifa.
If it was any whiter, it would have voted Liz Cheney out of Congress.
Oh!
Out of leadership.
We're going deep there, people. That's all. That's our political commentary for the day. Thank you
Boom!
very much.
We've been cutting back a little bit on that, but that had to be said.
Yeah, let's not. We're about positivity, not negativity, right?
That's right. I'm positive that Republicans are negative. Got it. All right, so...
I would love to say you're wrong.
All right, so I'm going to take... And actually, this brush is just a little bit bigger than I want for what I'm doing here, so we're going to get a little bit smaller one. And all I did was on this one is I was like highlighting the tops of his ears.
Matt the Dev says, if it were any whiter, it would be putting gasoline into grocery bags.
Boom.
Nailed it.
If there were any African Americans in those gas lines, they were looking at the white folk going, "What is wrong with you?"
Well, we have a saying at work that I use quite frequently for when it is, and that is called "People be crazy, yo."
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's what it is, and that what it be. People be crazy, yo.
I'm just gonna catch the lower lip here just a little bit because I want to. It's a little bit hard to see here on the camera, but I've added a little bit of white to his upper lip and his lower lip to help it pop a little bit better. And then I'm probably going to just touch these seams that are on his helmet, just to kind of make them pop just a little bit more at the top. the way I'll do these seams, they're probably going to get a fairly decent amount of paint on them anyway. Now the other thing is that I did dry brush the sides of these ropes, but I'm going to come back and I am actually going to add a little bit of white to the top ones because they're going to be a little bit brighter than the rest of it, and I want to see that. So we're just going to go like this and like that, and we'll just kind of touch up all of this stuff on top and just kind of come around on the ropes a little bit. See if we can't do this without making a mess of things.
I will say, John, one of the skills you have definitely gotten very, very good at is keeping your brush control very good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in a better
And that is
place
one
than
of
I
the
used to be.
super keys to painting fast. We had Dave Taylor on a couple weeks ago, and he's really good at that, and it just makes his stuff so fast. I am fucking awful at it. Maybe not fucking awful. I'm not the greatest at it. I also get to a point where I'm like, oh, fuck something up. All right, we're at fuck it. Let's go, and then we'll fix it all.
It honestly is brush control. Amount of paint on your brush makes a huge difference in making sure that you don't put too much on your brush so that you can control it, because you get too much paint on a brush and it's just going to want to go everywhere.
Yep, and use and replace your brushes when you need to. Don't just keep going, well, it's fine. If you have to say, well, it's fine, it's not fine, get a new brush. If you're going through them fast, get the Army Painter brushes. They're stupid cheap. Like, literally stupid cheap. Like, if I had to replace brushes monthly at Army Painter prices, it would be fine. That being said, when you get to a certain point, you may want to look at the more expensive brushes, because like most things, you pay a little more for it, it might last proportionally longer.
I am a tremendous fan of these Broken Toad brushes that I'm using right now.
That's the fourth time I've heard that in a couple weeks.
I have, they are the miniature series Mark IIs. They are a Kolinsky Sable brush, so they're the same basic brush material as, let's say, a Winsor Newton Series 7 or a Raphael 8404, and they are less expensive and they do a hell of a job.
Yeah, and I still have the first Winsor Newton I bought. It is still in good shape. I don't use it super often, but when I do, it still has a great point. And the Kolinsky Sable brushes are great. I
don't have any idea how old this Winsor Newton Series 7 is, and it finds its way onto every one, because every model I have, because it is my primary basing one that I use to block out the bases.
And let me tell you all, if you're worried about buying an expensive brush and not using it because you don't want to have to replace it, then don't buy the expensive brush. Just keep buying the stuff in your price range. There's nothing wrong with that. Literally. Iron Painter makes a good brush, but they're making, a cheaper brush because they want it to be affordable for people, and it's okay. So use the tools you're comfortable with.
But I am going to tell you something, folks. This is from your old Uncle Menoth John. Unless you're making terrain, you cannot be my friend if you're using that bullshit craft paint.
Yeah, paint's a different thing. Because honestly, the difference between that and the acrylics that we recommend from any of the big names, whether it be Army Painter, Vallejo, Games Workshop, P3, Reaper, all these paints are so far better than that craft paint, it defies description.
Yep.
For you old people out there, it's like a Yugo versus a fucking Lincoln Town Car.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, John. And I belong. I'm on Facebook. I'm a part of some of the miniature noob ones, and you get on there, and I see people saying, "Yeah, you can use it. You just got to be careful how you dilute." No, it doesn't work like that. Stop it. No. You're giving terrible advice to these people, and then they shout you down. And I'm like, okay, fine. I can't help you then, I guess.
if you want to give advice to people, here's what I would give. And this is going to be some advice people don't usually hear. If you're not sure, just fucking buy P3 paints.
Yeah.
Because that is the best out of the bottle consistency.
Yep.
Just straight up. It's kind of funny, consistent consistency. All their paints are the same general consistency. It's good. They flow well. If you're not going to water down paints because you're new, it's fine. Use them. It'll be okay. Now, eventually, you want to water down paints, you'll grow, and you'll start trying other stuff. But if you have to just start with one brand because you can't be arsed to get two brands, P3 will do it for you.
P3's
good consistently.
P3's non-toxic.
Yeah.
You can brush lick. You can do whatever
Yeah, they don't
you
taste
want.
bad.
No. And they're designed for doing two brush blending. They're a terrific paint. I mean, I would say 80% of my paints are P3. Now, when you 0% of my washes are P3.
Yeah, P3 wash. I mean, wash is Games Workshop.
It begins and ends right there.
Now, that's not to say some of the, so Vallejo has some washes, but they are very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
They are for not doing comic book style. GW stuff is made for a comic book sort of edge highlight, very good contrast, looks amazeballs at 6 feet away on a table. That's contrast. That's what they're looking for. They want you to extreme edge highlight, deep in the shade, so when you put it on the table across your opponent's like, man, that's an army.
Yep.
Vallejo's stuff is for much more subtle. It's got its uses, and you'll know what those uses are eventually. But you really got to try stuff. You got to take it slow with that. Because when I was doing She-Hulk, I tried 3 different green washes on it, or sort of. I tried the contrast paint, a little too dark. The Thraka green, whatever it's called nowadays, the green wash for Games Workshop, was okay. And then I tried the armor wash for green vehicles from Vallejo, and that actually ended up working the best because it gave the right level of contrast. It got it deep into the shading, what you wanted, and then you could touch up the skin with the original coat and give it a good overall highlight. I mean, you could take She-Hulk a level higher than I did and do a little more mixing of a light green in with the green you use to make the edges pop if you want. But for what I did, I feel like it came out great.
Yep. So, with what I'm doing here, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna do a ton of the high white on this guy, but where there's the muscles on the flesh, I'm going to catch that, and when I go back and I actually paint the model, it's going to make that flesh just turn out just right out of the box.
I will say flesh is the most important part to get that zenithal shading on. Everything else, you can mimic it. It'll look fine. Flesh, though, we're so familiar with the color scheme of flesh, that will help so much because flesh can be daunting. My buddy, not Brushhead Dave, does not paint flesh if he can fucking help it.
Yeah. If I never paint a pair of eyes again, it'll be too soon, but I know I'll do it on these models.
I tried to get the eyes on Wolverine to be white, but it was just, they're small, my eyesight's no bueno, even with magnifiers, and I was like, no, I'm just fucking this up, forget it. I may come back and do it. Maybe I'll get, I got a brush that might work. I might try the ink with, I have a brush that's just a very, very small point, a little bit of ink in there, try and just dot it in there and let it just flow into and cover that whole area, but we'll see.
See, I just realized that this model's wearing a mask.
Oh, well, I mean,
that's not his head. He's wearing a mask.
It's 2021. You should be wearing a mask.
You're not wrong.
Did you hear? The anti-vaxxers are now wearing masks because they don't want to catch whatever us vaxxers have from the vaccine.
That's fantastic. You know what? Whatever it takes to get to the right answer.
God damn right.
Whatever it takes to get to the right answer.
Whatever it takes to get you by. It's just hilarious, people. I can't make this shit up. It's like Audie Murphy. You heard the story of Audie Murphy, the movie about Audie Murphy, where they had to downplay all the stuff he did because it was too unrealistic for audiences?
Yep.
But that's what really happened. Remember, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
true statement of fact right there, man. What time is it?
Oh,
Almost time for
it
media.
it is just time for media. I got a wide hodgepodge of things to talk to since we last
Oh, cool.
talk about since we last met.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I really need to do with on some of these other models with that. I mean, it is select as far as how you use that pure white after you've gone through here. If you got,
I'm looking at this bottle I have, and I'm like, this is gonna last me a long, long time.
oh, you damn Skippy, it is. And in general, folks, if you buy good paint, those paints will last you forever because they tend to be good paints tend to be pigment rich, and they last forever. So I'm gonna put my
I have a
glasses
bottle.
on.
I have a bottle of Games Workshop's early paints, the ones that made by Coat d'Arms. It's still good.
Yeah,
I bought that in like the fucking 90s. Do you know how long ago the 90s was, John? Don't think about it. It's scary.
This is a bottle of putrid green that was one of the Coat d'Arms colors that I transferred into this dropper bottle. Did it no favors by doing that, by the way. But I was gifted this from somebody else. It's crazy talk, and it's still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coat
Still
d'Arms.
good.
Coat
The
d'Arms.
90s.
Coat d'Arms is still a company that exists, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And
The
they're the
90s.
ones. Yeah, and they're the ones that make P3's paints, if I'm not mistaken.
That would not surprise me. Actually, if they did, they also upped it. The original GW paints had a little more. Their consistency was not consistent. Some were really watery, some weren't really watery, but the P3 ones super good.
And I'm here to tell you, if you can get them, and if you want metallic paints that will change your life, Scale 75. Scale 75. It is. They are
So good.
like butter. That is the difference. They paint like paint, not like metallics.
And here's funny. I'm using this this Vallejo Model Air Chrome on that gas truck.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, careful with some of this stuff. This stuff prevents stuff from going over it very well. I had to go over these red letters on this sucker so many times because it just sort of kept flaking off in little bits. So you want to be careful with that.
Would it make sense to have sealed it, you think?
That's what I did after the last coat. I sealed it and said, I'll go over it again later, and it'll be okay. But yes, that's exactly what it would be.
Okay.
And that's the thing people don't realize. I knew a professional painter, and I say professional because she did it for money. And she would literally get a coat done. She'd go outside, quick seal on it, and come back in, let it go, and then paint over the next set.
Is that the Kath?
Oh, no, it's not Kathy, actually. I forget her name. She worked part-time for Games Workshop and hung out in the bunker a lot way back when I was working there.
Cool.
Which was a long time ago.
Let's talk about movies and all that other kind of stuff. It sounds like you've got a wide plethora of things to talk about. I maybe have a few less, so why don't you go ahead and lead off?
Well, I got a wide plethora, but not all movies. I'm going to start with something I think you maybe were not as much of a fan of as I may end up being.
Okay.
Bainey and I got done watching. Oh god, we got to talk about this too. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I didn't make it past halfway through the first episode.
What?
I didn't make it past halfway through the first episode. I didn't give a fuck. I don't give
Oh
a
my
fuck
God.
about Falcon, and I like the Winter Soldier, but
Oh, well, that's too bad because that is a hell of a series. But anyways, we got done with that. So now we were watching, and I guess go more stuff you may not be a fan of. Discovery Season 3.
Discovery Season 3 I'm a fan of.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure. And I'm only 3 episodes. We're only 3 episodes in, but man,
If I remember
like
right,
where
it's my
going.
if I remember right, it's my favorite season.
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
If
That's
I remember
awesome to
right,
hear.
If I remember right, it's the best season.
I love what they're doing. Three episodes in, you've got the Commander Burnham episode I enjoyed. Then the rest of the crew episode that was sort of westerny and I really liked. And then this next one where they're get to Earth and they're really doing Federation-y stuff and it is awesome. It is like all those people were like, "Oh, Discovery's about war and not Star Trek." No, shut up. You don't fucking know. Because it is about Star Trek. It is the truest to Star Trek has been in a long fucking time.
I think I really liked the series. Do you know if they got another season?
I'm pretty certain they did. Yeah, it's still great. But I love where it's going. I'll of course hold a rating until we get through it, which will be a while because we're watching one episode a week or so.
Yeah.
But very much enjoy it, and I'm here to tell you I love how Star Trek it is. And for those of you who love other stuff, it's okay to love other stuff. It's cool. You can love your Deep Space Nine. It is great sci-fi. It's terrible Star Trek, but great sci-fi. There's nothing wrong with it. You sort of have to understand what you're looking at. But this is great sci-fi, I think, and great Star Trek. It is quickly eclipsed. Discovery quickly eclipsed Picard for me as the best Star Trek recently.
Yeah, I'd go with that. It's really, really good.
And Picard is really good too. Really enjoyable because those are some old friends coming back. But man, this is just wow.
Yeah, it's really, really excellent. Speaking of things that came back, a show that I know I enjoy probably more than you have, and that's Clone Wars. In the final season of Clone Wars, they introduce a group known as the Bad Batch, and the Bad Batch were a series of 4 clones that they had mutations that were beneficial. And so one of them's like a super sniper, and one of them is fucking Rambo, and he literally looks like Rambo. And there's one that's got like super strength, and then there's another one that's got that is super intelligent and things like that. And I thought they were a little Mary Sue and a little bit cliche when they were in the Clone Wars, but apparently they were liked enough to get their own series. I think it's a 1-season series. It's starting to stream on Disney Plus now. I'm here to tell you, I'm a huge fan of this.
Cool.
I have really enjoyed it. The characters are more fleshed out now, and they feel less two-dimensional. And I really like what they're doing with it. There's some mysteries going on. We're going to find some stuff out, and it's very, very good. I think it is. It's nice because I'm watching Rebels also. And this is just better than Rebels. And so it's good. I'm really enjoying it. Bad Batch, yeah, Legionnaires, Bad Batch is already on episode 2. So there's 2 episodes out there for you. So so far it's fantastic. Highly recommended. I obviously can't give it how many shots of Kraken, but so far it's a 1 shot of Kraken for sure.
Yeah, I am ejecting from the Star Wars watch through.
I don't blame you.
Respectfully, the first 4 seasons of Clone Wars has sapped my will to watch.
I
know.
don't blame you.
I know it's better afterwards, and eventually, probably after this pandemic's over and I can get my mind straight and see it, I'll come back to it. But I think that was probably too ambitious also. I think I set the bar too high. So we'll start watching some other series because I know that is what I dedicated to do. I think we'll start with Back to the Future. I've got that DVD set I need to watch, or Blu-ray set I need to watch. So,
makes a lot of sense.
Second, I watched Mission Impossible 2. You know, I hadn't seen it in forever. I actually own it on HD DVD, but that doesn't help me none. I don't have a player for that. And I'm like, oh crap, Paramount Plus, they rebranded from CBS All Access Paramount Plus, and I'm here to tell you, they got a good selection of movies. And that's one of them. I'm like, oh, cool, I can watch this because I've seen all the rest of these recently. And, oh, John Woo, why'd you do it? This is not your best work. And it is clearly the worst movie in the Mission Impossible franchise. Clearly. It's not close. Like, it is... Like, even John Woo can't save this. And I'm going to assume a lot of what's in here is, Tom Cruise. We must say Tom Cruise. Let's be fair. Some sort of studio interference to get to what they wanted. It's got some good points. Anthony Hopkins as, the guy Tom Cruise reports to is cool. Tom Cruise is passable. He's still not quite there. I think he was better in the first one. He's better in the later ones. The plot's kind of and they really play out the whole mask thing. They use it too many times. You're like, come on. And it's a pretty bog standard action movie. I mean, 2.5 shots of Kraken. Sure, you'll get some enjoyment out of it. But you'll be like, God, how did they get a third movie after this? This is mediocre as fuck. I would actually even say John Woo's other big American early feature, Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme, is probably better than this.
Wow. That's an indictment right there.
I've seen Hard Target recently. I own it. and I think it's better than this. I don't think it's a lot better,
Yeah.
but I think it's better.
Very interesting.
Overall, I mean, sure, if you're watching the whole Mission Impossible series, watch it. But other than that, don't come back and revisit it. You don't need to. There are better things to spend your time on.
So for my next thing for the media section, I am going to recommend the SpaceX Starship Mediaverse. And
Okay.
this is a generalized recommendation. Folks, we are living in a very interesting time. This is a time that if you're not paying attention to it, you're missing out, because in the 1960s, basically the whole 1960s, not just the late 1960s, the United States embarked in a space race to, and we can get back to, we can talk about For All Mankind at some point, but embarked on a mission to get somebody to Mars, and not to Mars, to the moon, I should say, in the 1960s.
Yeah. Back to the moon,
And
yeah.
what we are watching right now is a man in his company with a vision to make the human race multiplanetary. And he has decided that the strategy for this is rapid prototyping. So he's going to build a thing, and there's a better than average chance it's going to fuck up. And there has been an entire YouTube community that has built up around Elon Musk and SpaceX's quest to do this with the flying grain silo that is uniquely known as Starship and Super Heavy Booster. When it's done, it will be a taller, heavier, bigger, badder, more badass version of the Saturn V rocket, which other
It's
than
saying
the
something.
other than the N1 from in Russia that never successfully flew, would be the biggest rocket so far. And it is all made out of stainless steel rather than the typical aluminum and things like that, because it is structurally, the what you're seeing are the tank sections, and and stainless steel gets stronger the colder you make it. So and what's built up around this are channels like Scott Manley
I
and
was gonna say Scott Manley.
and Everyday Astronaut and What About It and NASA Spaceflight and Lab Padre. Lab Padre, which is LAB Padre, PADRE, which is just one word, runs 6 full-time 24-hour-a-day streaming channels of different views of the SpaceX complex in Boca Chica, Texas. You have the Launchpad Cam. You have the Nerdle Cam. The Nerdle Cam is what a group of nerds is called. It's a nerdle. There is the Sentinel Cam, which looks over where they block the road off when they're going to do a launch, and it can also pivot to look at the construction area. There's all these different views and stuff. There's a thermal cam, so that when they're like putting cryogenic liquids into it, you can tell because it'll change color and stuff. It's crazy talk. And it is fascinating to watch this program. And the reason, if you're not into it yet, you should be, is they just finally successfully landed one of these sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Serial number 15, which means yes, they didn't. It wasn't quite 15 of them they've blown up, but they've blown up 12. 15 actually landed properly, and came down, had a soft landing, and has actually been picked up and is going to be placed on a launch pad, and they're going to reuse it again. So it's probably within the next week they should probably be trying their first attempt at flying one of these twice. It is a fully reusable rocket.
The best thing about this is also it's not like the other people who are bidding for NASA's work who are like, oh, we're bidding, if you give us the bid, we're going to do this thing. No, SpaceX is like, we're doing this thing. Hopefully we can also do the thing for NASA.
Right.
But he don't care. He's just going to make the best thing he can. And for all his craziness, God bless him for making the best thing he can to try and get this off the ground, pun intended.
And without question, the reason that Falcon 9 was how he proved you could do reusable rockets, and gave him a business model to make money to do Starship. And Starlink exists to create income to basically to fund Starship. Now, Starship was selected as the primary landing method for the upcoming Artemis project, until Blue Origin and the other competitors cried foul. Oh, we got beat up by Elon again. Well, fuckers, if you would just stop with all this bullshit. The amount of money that's being spent on SLS right now, the Space Launch System, using nothing but recycled parts from old space shuttles. Billions and billions of dollars. And here comes Elon with the most complicated rocket engine ever built, and full reusability. And he's like, "What up, dog? I mean, just stop, suck, get good, noob."
The thing, he's still, like, literally, from what I've seen, he's still putting out the best prototypes.
Yeah, for a lot less
like,
money.
They're like, yeah, they're crying foul, but at the end of the day, his stuff is. I think one of them had something that was technically might be better quality, but was significantly more expensive. Yeah. So I mean, it's weird. You might be seeing. I hope you are. The old style of bullshit contract bidding die because Elon Musk is killing it.
This cost plus bullshit that has made Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all these other fucking companies all fat and sassy. And here comes Blue Origin with Jeff Bezos getting ready to fucking suck off that teat. Just as Jeff Bezos can burn in hell. And trying to suck off that teat again. And here comes Elon. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what y'all talking about. See that rocket over there? That rocket just landed. What's yours done? Oh, that's right, Boeing. You tried to launch your Starliner, and you fucked up your programming so hard it never made it to the right orbit. How about that, huh?
Yeah,
and they keep pushing back and pushing back, pushing back. The people that brought you the goddamn 737 Max. Yeah, they should have a seat at the table.
Yeah, no. Like, you're going to see, and I hope against hope this goes into many things. It can go into defense contracting. Fucking the F-35 Lightning. For Christ's sakes. Really?
Please.
The Joint Strike Fighter?
Please.
If Elon cared enough to get into that stuff, he would own that too, just because he just knows how to do shit. He don't care. He's rich enough that he can do it the way it should be done, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So
God bless him.
Check it out. And, Scott Manley, if you want, so the way it works is
double plus Scott Manley.
So the way it works is if you just want to get excited about something, watch What About It, because Felix Schlong from Germany, he's a fanboy. Then if you want to watch a short form video that you will learn from, Scott Manley. Okay. Now, if you want a long form video where you will get into great gory detail on each of them, Everyday Astronaut. Everyday Astronaut, if you're interested in the minutia between the types of rocket motors that exist and why there are advantages and disadvantages, watch any of his long form videos on that subject. Everyday Astronaut, Tim Dodd, he's fantastic. For my money, if you want to watch the prep and lead up to Starship launches, anything you want to watch, I watch NASA Spaceflight every day because they have an 11-minute recap of everything that happened on the production facility and launch area, comprised in 11 minutes, and then Lab Padre, check in and you'll get very quickly what's the weather. You'll get a shot of what's going on. You'll get what's coming up for the day and whether or not there's a launch coming. And it's boom. It is such a great time to watch something like this happen because history is going to get made.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just glad that I'm tuned into this so that I can watch it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever since that guy jumped, Red Bull sponsored that guy to jump from space basically down to Earth again.
Yeah.
I've been trying to catch as much as I can whenever I can because it's a cool time to be alive.
It is, and it's really fun to watch. You can just like what I do is I put like on launch days I'll just put the stream over here on monitor number 3, and just let it sit there, and you can tell there are certain times you start watching smoke fumes coming up out of the tank farm, where they're venting off it's a Starship is a liquid methane and liquid oxygen rocket. Why? Because you can make those fuels on fucking Mars with carbon dioxide and
big brain strats there. Big brain strats.
Yeah. In fact, one of the experiments that was on Endeavour was testing the chemical process for making what turned out to be the rocket fuel that Starship will need once it gets to Mars.
Because if you can have fuel made where you're going, it changes your payload so much.
Yeah, it makes Mars viable at that point.
Yep.
It makes Mars possible.
So 0 shots of Kraken to the future happening while we watch.
Yep, amen. I don't have anything else for media. Do you have anything? One more, or do you want to call it good?
I do have one more I want to talk about.
Let's call one more.
I sort of talked. I probably talked about this earlier, but since we're still under lockdown for the most part in most places in the country, keep checking out all those collab videos between various musicians covering whatever song. They are super awesome. There's one I saw way back when it came out last year, but saw it again, and it's like they're covering Faith No More's "We Care a Lot," which is an early Faith No More song before Mike Patton, and it is you guys from Anthrax, Korn, Mastodon, Men Without Hats, Run DMC, Filter, and Slaves on Dope, and more. And it's a great cover. It's just great, fun cover to see that. I saw one with a bunch of guys doing a cover of Hey Man, Nice Shot. There's a ton out there. Watch them. Support these musicians while they can't go out and get what makes their money. Records don't make them money. I'm sorry. It's getting out there and having people at shows makes them money, and they can't do that.
Yeah.
So get out there, at least support what they're doing. Get them a little YouTube bucks. Make sure people know they're still waiting for them to come back. Do what you can to support all those guys. If you can, buy directly from them. Figure out what gives them the best percentage if you can. Just support them while they're out there. We got a lot of good musicians making ends meet in this tough times, and we don't want music to go away, live music to go away. We're going to want it to happen again.
Absolutely.
I mean, unlike theaters where I'm like, yeah, they could go away and it'd be sad, but not like tragic. Live music would be tragic.
Yep. Summerfest in early September here in Milwaukee is going to have a lineup unlike anything I have ever seen in my 50 years of giving a damn. I'm 52. I didn't look at Summerfest when I was 2. But it is all of the bands that have been cooped up. They just want to play. And they're all coming to Summerfest. All of them.
And now you're getting the bands that are smart. I mean, I know some bands, even some bands I like, who actually did stuff like during COVID, during the meat of COVID, if you will, last year, at Sturgis and bullshit. Why are you guys doing this? You guys are stupid. But now you're getting the bands to come out, the ones who care. They don't want people getting together. They're not just in it for the money. They understand that they want their fans to fucking be alive.
Yep. So
support them when shows come out. Try and support them when you can. Take that sweet, sweet money. Don't retire off that COVID money you got. Show the snapping turtle there that we're not doing what he says. We're not gonna retire, but we're gonna take it. We're gonna put it back into live shows and shit, taking care of people who take care of us, because music is super important.
Well, people just be taking that money and just putting it away and retiring on it. God, fuck that guy. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, just to tell you how strong this lineup is, Run the Jewels is not on the main stage.
What?
That's how good the lineup is.
Oh, and one more you want to check out. There's a lot of music out there we never saw. I shared with John a version of Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With that was remixed by what the fuck?
Tiger Style.
Tiger Style.
Tiger Style.
By the guy from Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Morello and some other guys did some remixes
Yeah.
with them, and it is chef's kiss. Because I like Wu-Tang.
Mm-hmm.
They are very good for that style of rap.
Yeah.
But you add some kick and rock guitar to it, and next level for me.
Tom Morello's got two interesting Tom Morello notes before we close out the show. Tom Morello now has a standing gig on Sirius XM, where
At least two.
yeah, I saw him on. He was on two different channels at one time. Radio something or other. I can't remember what it was called.
Radio Commandante,
Commandante.
and what's the other one called? There's another one he has too. I
Yeah.
forget what it's called. It's my brain.
And his summer job when he was in college was the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Wisconsin, which is just right down the street from me. Who knew? Who knew?
Yep.
Brad?
Actually, he's got three now. He's got One Man Revolution, Radio Commandante, and Maximum Firepower. So he's up to 3 shows.
Jesus
And
Christ.
it's great because he has such a varied taste in music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you just listen to One Man Revolution, where he just plays whatever the fuck he wants, sometimes on a topic, sometimes not, you hear all sorts of awesome shit you ain't ever heard before.
Yeah. Tom Morello's amazing.
And if you have SiriusXM, you can look it up on there. You can go online, get the app. You can look it up. It doesn't necessarily have to be on your radio. You can play the old stuff whenever you want.
Yeah, that's true. They do have that on-demand stuff like a lot.
I'll be honest. Now, if you have SiriusXM, make sure you're getting the package deals. But they have so much content. It's super duper worth it.
Yeah, it is. I've had SiriusXM for years and years and years and years, and I would never have a car without SiriusXM in it because fuck local radio.
Fuck local radio. Sometimes you
Local
got a good
radio's
station.
just-
That's cool.
Local
But
radio's
it's
not
not
what
as good.
local radio isn't what it used to be either at all. It's all
No.
it's all programmed bullshit, national nonsense. I mean, back in the
Yeah.
day, like when you had like either like WLUP in Chicago or WLPX and stuff like that with oh fuck, what was his name? God. The guy that did the Disco Demolition at Comiskey.
I don't remember his name, but I remember hearing about that.
It was Tom. It was Gary was his sidekick. Steve Dahl. Steve Dahl was the
Yeah,
DJ's
okay.
name. That shit doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't. So
Yeah, like the old school syndicated rock shows, like the Greaseman,
mhm.
stuff like that, just doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
And you might have a good local channel. Cool. Listen to it too. And honestly, sometimes those channels get a little repetitive.
They
but
do.
There's so many of them that you could just change. Just
Yep.
go. You'll hear something cool.
Yep.
And they'll reintroduce you to stuff you've forgotten about. I started re-listening to Tesla as a band. Forgot
Yeah.
how good they were. Just a bunch of stuff. You just look at it, listen to it. It's all good.
All right, here we go, kids. We've reached another end of the Wednesday night extravaganza. We painted some stuff. We laughed. We cried. We kissed 90 minutes goodbye. We are going to be here probably in 2 more weeks. We'll see. I got my travel schedule has decided to pick up again. I've been to Carson, Nevada once. I will be going to Carson that last week right after Memorial Day. So I don't know if that conflicts here again with this show or not. I got to take a look at it, but Painting with Ben Off John will happen when it happens. So keep yourself hit the subscribe button or follow button on Twitch. Subscribe, hit the bell, smash your brother, hit the chick down this, hit the people down the street. Don't hit the women. Don't hit women down the street. But we'll be here when we are.
Yep, and if it's not on, check to see if maybe it's the off week and John's doing Mothership RPG. And if that's not on, go over to More Than Dice and check out me probably playing some MechWarrior Online.
Do that.
I love to have new people come in. I've gotten a bunch of people start playing again, just having fun. You might see me and my boys, the Filthy Casuals of Quick Play playing. We don't care about competitive, we're just having a good time.
And that's what this show has always been about. Y'all have a good time, and we will be back when we're back. So, good night, everybody.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Back when we're back is still more regular than Boston and their albums. There's a fucking treat.
Yeah, I hope you guys are old enough to get that joke.
See ya.